Good morning. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the 4th, the 5th and the 6th of September. And I think I'm going to sneeze. Am I going to sneeze? First of all, I want to send out a big thank you to my Pillar of Light members on our Facebook group who chose me to do this video instead of doing a brief current energy report today. So every Wednesday I do a current energy report for my Pillar of Light members, and today, because we're very busy this week painting our new gallery and art hub, I only have about half an hour, so it was either do a short report or do a video, and I put it to my members and they chose a video. So I am here in thanks to them, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So thank you to my Pillar of Light members who voted for me to do a video. I am coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Wednesday the 4th of September and the time is 9:01 a.m. I want to also send out an extra special thank you and welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons for September, to my Pillar of Light members, and to all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. So, on that note, if you are a Pillar of Light member and you didn't see the poll that I put up last night, or you're not in our Facebook group, there will be no current energy report coming out today. So it will be back next week on the, whatever the date will be, the 11th of September. So thank you for joining me today. What I'm going to be doing is using my oracle cards here that I created. I have my Speed of Light oracle cards combined with my Animal Kingdom oracle. So they've been combined to make a deck of 110 cards. And I'll be using this deck to find the best cards that the majority of us need for these next 3 days. I'll be looking for one card each day, and then at the very end of the video I'm going to pull a theme card. So I suggest that you take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily at this time, and let the rest go. Take on board the things that resonate, that fit, that make sense to you, that seem like I'm personally talking to you. Pay attention to those things and think of this as a guide, and hopefully it supports you at this time. So are we still on the high-speed train? I would say yes. Hopefully you're on board this high-speed train that left the station. When did it leave the station? About a week ago, probably, or longer. It could have even been nearly a week and a half. Anyway, it's been fast flowing, high rolling, high speed. There's been a lot of very hectic, busy things happening. And what I've noticed, if we can imagine getting on the train that's going on the tracks in wherever direction that we're going, then that is will probably feel better on the train rather than trying to run beside the train, trying to catch up with the train and then get on board. It's exhausting if we're not going with the flow and the momentum of things and where things are going in our life. Now, it's not always going to be like this, but it does feel like there's still a fairly high speed taking place in our life. And the good thing about a train going on train tracks is that the track is laid out for the train, wherever the train's going, our train that's guiding us and taking us through life at this time. So as long as we don't switch directions suddenly, or suddenly think, oh, am I on track? And then probably the train will derail. So trusting that we're on track, trusting that we're going in the right direction seems to be very powerful at this time. But it's Wednesday the 4th of September, and I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Wednesday the 4th of September. So the best card is this. It's an Animal Kingdom oracle card, and it's the Fiddler Crab. So that's interesting. It's card 46, and it says to be on guard. Be on guard. Don't be paranoid, though. Sometimes if we're on guard, they can tend to bring up or bring with it a sense of paranoia. We don't want to be paranoid. We don't want to use this need to be on guard in fear unless we need to. Sometimes it is fear that drives us to put a protection up for our safety or for the safety of those that we love or who are in our care, like children, for example. So there might be a fear that makes us put up this guard around us. But hopefully there isn't a fear or a threat to our survival, and we don't need to put sort of that guard up in fear. In general, this tends to highlight keeping things close to our chest. So there might be something that we're working on in private. There might be something that we're thinking about doing. There might be an idea that we're brewing and kind of sitting with and digesting to see if we want to take that to the next level. So we often do these things privately. They incubate within us. So this is a time, especially Wednesday, to keep things close to our chest, to perhaps be on guard or even affirm our protection if we are feeling unsafe or if we're stepping into an environment perhaps around other people or in a new situation that we're not familiar with or that we're not sure about, and we might find it helpful to walk into that situation sort of reinforcing our protection shield. So how I do that when I'm about to step into a hospital or if I'm about to step into a situation that I find a bit confronting or uncomfortable, then I imagine like an eggshell around me, a protection shell around me, and it keeps unwanted and negative energy out of that shell, but it also keeps the inside of that shell hopefully nice and balanced and clear and confident and whatever might be appropriate for the situation. So we can affirm our protection if we're feeling unsafe, but also if there's something we are thinking about, we might want to keep it private for now, keep it close to our chest while we work out how we really feel about this or how we are going to proceed with this, depending on the situation. So that's for Wednesday, bit of a protective energy up. So the best card for now for Thursday, the 5th of September, is... which card do we need for Thursday? So the best card for Thursday, the 5th of September, is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And it is the Wolf, card 44. The Wolf talks about, or it says down here, instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. Okay, so flow and trust, let's explore that a little bit first, especially in relation to the high speed, the movement of things, the things that I've been talking about really for the last week. Is getting on board, moving with the flow, moving with the rhythm of where our life is taking us, and trusting in that flow, trusting in the speed of our life at this time, trusting in the direction that we're taking. Because I find trust, there's something really... what's a good word to use? Really strengthening about trust in regards to, I'm not talking about trusting other people. That's a whole nother topic. I'm talking about trusting in ourselves, trusting in our intuition, trusting in the direction that we're moving, trusting in the unfolding of things in our life, trusting in the flow, trusting that we're in that right place at that right time to met that person or rendezvoused with this thing. So this trusting in things, this to me, like since I moved into that space of trust, which I've been living that way for a couple of decades now, I started exploring trusting in things when I was hairdressing back in the mid to late 90s, and I was exploring hair and trying and figuring out how to cut and style hair with the way it grows instead of trying to force it. You know, we all know we've got this bit of hair that sticks out. If we try and force it to go this way we want, it's just going to stick out more. If we force it to go, or not force it, but if we move it with the way it grows and wants to go, then it's going to be easier to tame. So I explored that sort of philosophically, I guess, when I was hairdressing and doing my apprenticeship in the mid to late 90s. And I've been exploring trusting in my journey and my flow of life since then. And there is a sense of confidence that it does tend to promote and bring forward, especially the more I've found anyway, the more I trust in where I am in my life and the decisions that I make and all those sorts of things, then the stronger I feel a connection to my life. And the times, and the very brief times now, but the times prior when I was feeling not so trusting in myself and my life and the unfolding of things, I was very cautious, unconfident and self-conscious and sort of held back and hesitated in life. And I really feel that, for me anyway, my increased, because it's not something that I've found that we get overnight. It's not something that we don't trust in where we are in life and then suddenly we do. I feel like it builds up, and we sort of build a momentum of it as we move forward. And as we trust more, we have the evidence that that was the right thing to do, and then it builds and builds and builds. It's like a momentum. Or I describe it as like bricks that we put on a wall of trust, and that wall becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. With more bricks, the more we experience and go through life. So it's something that grows. So prior to that, it was very sort of holding back sort of feeling. This trust in things and trust in life does tend to bring this confidence, a strength, but also this sense of full participation and full ownership. And I think it is actually that. It's an ownership, it's a responsibility that we take and we own, because we are moving and we're trusting in where we're going. But we also trust that, okay, if I'm in this situation, I've handled it this way, and maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, I need to learn from that so I can improve it next time. So there is a sense of building and growing with this. And I'm highlighting this because it is strong right now. Like trusting in the direction that we're going, trusting the movement of our life, trusting in ourselves and the decisions that we make. This is all very strong energy at the moment, and it has been for probably the last week. And another element of this card is about cycles. And the movement of things, how things move in cycles and move in waves. So can we trust in the wave and the cycle that we're moving through now? Or are we resisting this change? Are we resisting this move? A great example is that hopefully if we've taught our children well as parents, they're going to eventually leave the nest. And this is inevitable and a fact of life. We left the nest, our children are going to leave the nest. Now we can try and resist this cycle by wanting to keep our children close by, not wanting them to become competent adults, and kind of pinning them down from growth and becoming an adult like we became, hopefully. Or we can warm ourselves up to this cycle that's just going to happen. It's going to come eventually. And instead of resisting it, we could make the most of the moments that we spend with our children until that day when they do fly the nest. It is a normal cycle of life. So there are cycles in life that we may be resisting at this time, and we're being encouraged to trust in the cycles and try not to resist this flow that's there. Try not to resist. It's again, if we go back to this train sort of analogy that I've been talking about lately, it's like instead of, or if we could imagine the train is like a river, instead of trying to swim upstream against the current, which is very exhausting, and we're going against the flow, against the rhythm, against the direction of where life is taking us, we'll find it very exhausting, and probably more than that, it probably stirs up a lot of stuff in us. So instead, if we can surrender and just trust in the movement, and trust in the flow, trust in the cycles of things, of life itself, the birth, the life, the death of things, and all the cycles in between, then we might find that we can involve ourselves in our life better than if we resist it. So that's pretty strong for now. So that's for Thursday. Let's now find the best card for Friday, the 6th of September. And okay, let's see what we've got for Friday. So the momentum still seems strong according to the cards. Let's see what Friday's card wants to be. So the best card for Friday, which I trust 100% in my cards and the way I choose my cards, and this moment that will present the best card that the majority of us need. So that card for Friday is this. It's an animal kingdom, and we have, the fire dragon. The fire dragons are the most powerful cards in the deck. And we have 5 of them in the Animal Kingdom Oracle card. So we have the fire element the Fire Dragon, card 23. It says that this is a powerful time of change. And I'm sure you're probably sitting there nodding and really feeling that. There are things changing in our life, like on the outer external sense around us. But there are a lot of changes happening inside us as well. Maybe it's part of the external changes. Maybe we're instigating them. So the external changes are reflecting our internal changes. And in some instances, the external changes are probably prompting or forcing us to change, forcing us to cope with new situations and respond or react in new ways, perhaps. So there is a lot of change happening, and I feel with this card, it feels like there's a lot being whipped up. And, you know, it's been ridiculously windy here, but in really weird surges. It's like we have 100-kilometre-an-hour gusts of wind for a few hours, and then it drops dead calm. And then another big wave of wind comes in to like 80 kilometres an hour, and then it drops into calm. And it's been happening like that for a week, and floods and all sorts of things. So there is this sort of whipping up of energy at the moment. It is very stormy, it's very fiery, and things are stirring up. Probably if we've been resisting change, then there might be some uncomfortable confronting things that we're having to deal with that we'd perhaps prefer not to, but we just have to. So do we put it off? Do we resist it? Do we pretend it doesn't exist? Or do we just find our courage, put on our knight's armour, and just go for whatever it is that we need to do and get it done, get through it? There seems to be that sort of feeling here. Let's just get it done. Let's just get through it. It has to be done anyway. The more we put it off, the harder it's going to be. And we're dragging it out. So let's just get it done. Let's just get it over with. There's that feeling here too. But things are changing. Are you rolling with the changes, or are you resisting them? Are you going with the flow of this change, or are you trying to go against it and it's not working for you? You'll know if you're going against it because you'll just meet obstacle after obstacle. You'll be exhausted and overwhelmed, probably often. And you'll probably find you just keep butting up against things. Like everywhere you turn, it's just like another wall, another wall. And that's probably because the walls and the only area that's open is probably the area you don't want to look at. So if you can look at that area of your life or whatever it is that this might represent and move courageously in that direction, you might find that things start working better in regards to flow, getting these things sorted out and getting these things done. So the momentum is still strong. So that's that. Thank you so much. I am going to pull a theme card. Before I do, I want to thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed this reading, you'd like to learn more about my cards, you can find them on my website. If you'd like to support my work and see more of these sorts of videos, or if you'd like to just learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. We do have a bunch of events coming up in Tasmania, Australia in February, because Temple of Balance turns 20. So we've got healing events, art projects events, spirit guide drawings. We've got a gathering. There's a vision quest, also an option for a vision quest, which is where I'm only taking 3 people and I'm driving us to Wineglass Bay, to Coles Bay, one of the most sacred places in this area, which is about an hour away probably from here in the car. And we'll be going on a vision quest and figuring out what the vision is that we're looking for healing, for inspiration, or whatever it is that we need. So I'll be guiding that too. So lots happening and lots you will find on my website, templeofbalance.com.au, because 20 years doing this, I've accumulated a lot of resources. So check out my website if you'd like to. All right, let's grab the best theme card for these next 3 days. So the theme card will help us see the bigger picture and help us sort of see an overview of our theme for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the best theme card for the majority of us for the 4th, the 5th and the 6th of September 2024 is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And we have Tiger Claw. Now, you might have seen this recently if you're on Facebook, because in my Speed of Light Oracle Cards Facebook page. This is our card for today. So this has been popping up a bit. It's Tiger Claw. He's card 40. And he says, stand your ground, speak up, take action and courage. So this is about stepping forward. This is about clearing the air. This has an assertive feel to it. We might have been holding back with something recently or in the last few weeks, the last few months. Maybe there is something we need to say, but we've been holding back. We've been biting our tongue. We might find Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there might be a motivation or a push within us to speak up now. Maybe we're clearer now and understand more clearly what we need to say, for example. So standing our ground, clearing the air, speaking up. This is all part of this particular card. There is that assertive feeling and there is a courage and action feeling required here too. So again, we're being pushed into action. Where do we need to go? What step do we need to take? Are we going in the best direction possible? Are we running around in circles? And if we're running around in circles and we're just not really going far, or we're not really productive in the circle running that we're doing, which is probably the case, then I get this vision again of this wall coming up, everywhere we turn, wall coming up. But there is a gap here, and the gap in the walls is where we're most likely being called to go, and it's probably the place we don't want to go. So it's a place we've probably just been avoiding. We might have a blinker on to that particular opening, but everywhere else we turn is wall. So let's find courage to move in the direction of the gap in the wall. Let's find courage to move in the direction of the things that we don't want to look at or we don't want to face, because it's there we'll probably find the gift of healing, the gift of insight, the gift of awareness, or whatever gift it is that we're looking for that will then help us, propel us forward. So don't be afraid to look where you don't want to look, at the things that you're scared of, the things that you've been procrastinating on or avoiding. Why have you been avoiding them? And can you arm yourself up in your knight's armor and just do your best to move in that direction? So that's the energy around. It's very strong and it feels quite specific. So you'll probably feel, you might even feel exactly and know exactly where this relates for you. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great couple of days. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon. And to my Pillar of Light members, mwah, mwah. I'm sorry I can't do the report today, but I will be back next week with flying colours. And you could just imagine me painting walls. We've done the first coat, so now we're just about to do the second coat today. So I have been cutting in, and Corey's been rolling, and it's taken us 2 days to do the first coat of everywhere in our new gallery, our art hub, and hopefully the second coat goes quicker. That would be great. So have a great day, and I will connect with you again soon. Thanks for watching.